So Jonathan Majors, as you know, have been found guilty of 2 of the 4 counts against him, even after all of the evidence that says Grace Jabari was lying about pretty much all of this. Keep in mind, Marvel and Walt Disney Corporation have dropped Jonathan Majors, and who knows how many others going forward. But let's go to ABC News and legal analyst Brian Buckheimer, mostly to get clarity on these charges and how they were able to find him guilty even after seeing the evidence that pointed opposite of that.
Let's first of all talk about the charges here. Brian, your first reaction.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of scratching my head just because I'm looking at the different charges, and let me break it down and explain. There are 2 different assaults here. One is intentional assault and one is reckless assault. Based on the number order that they're telling us, my guess, and please someone correct me if I'm wrong, is they're acquitting him of intentional assault, but finding him guilty of reckless assault, meaning that he just did something he should have known better, and it caused the injury of Grace Jabari. Then he's found not guilty of aggravated assault, which is to alarm, annoy, harass, or threaten someone and subject them to physical violence. But he's not guilty of that, but he is guilty of alarming and annoying Grace Jabari. To me, this sounds like we call it a King Solomon decision. They literally just split the baby and said half and half, but some of the convictions and some of the acquittals don't really make sense when you put them all together.
Well, Brian, let me try to make a little sense. I wonder, I don't know the exact fact pattern since I wasn't in the courtroom, but couldn't you say that in the fury of what is a domestic dispute, he was reckless in his handling, in his physical handling of Jabari, and that was the reckless assault. And the harassment is he lost his temper rather than consciously went after her. Does that make sense?
No, because it would make sense for the reckless and then the aggravated harassment, because the aggravated harassment is harassing someone through physical violence. So why find him guilty of assaulting recklessly, but not guilty of harassing someone through physical force? That's the part that I'm thinking someone just kind of said, you know what, we'll find him guilty for 2, but not guilty for these 2. But it could work. Someone's got to talk to the jury, I guess.
Yeah. Let's talk about the evidence, because there was clearly clashing narrative from both sides. We had video, audio, text, photos. Do we have that video? Okay, this is some of the photos that we had here of the bruises and the cuts. This is the video that I'm talking about. I mean, this was probably one of the most powerful pieces of the evidence that they played in court, Brian.
A quick sidebar. They showed him lift her up and put her into the car, right? And then try to get away from her, and she gets out the car, starts trying to fight him, and chases him 2 blocks. When a woman's attacking you, what else can you do besides pick her up and put her in the car? You understand what I'm saying? When she trying to swing all on you, do all of this, and then as far as her injuries, like showing a broke finger, this, that, I've broke my finger, pinky finger, trying to put somebody out before, right? On their jacket, grabbed their jacket. I was the aggressor because it was time for them to go. I grabbed their jacket and turned them, and in turning them, my finger snagged the jacket, fractured, broke, right? So you can't tell me it's possible that she couldn't have been swinging at him and like hurt her own finger. Many of us who know, if you slap somebody or hit somebody the wrong way, you can break your hand, all of this type of stuff. So, but let's just continue what Brian had to say added to this.
For me, is this Jonathan Majors assaulting his then girlfriend, then running away, or is this him trying to stop her from stealing, or I guess re-stealing his cell phone and getting away from her? The juxtaposition of how this was presented to the jury, I think, is what caused the deliberation to take so long.
And there's a state of mind, obviously, that the prosecution would have to prove, right? And so here they are. She has seen the spark that triggered this fight was she saw what she thought was a message from another woman on his phone. So she was trying to grab the phone. He's trying to grab it back. They're probably at the peak of emotions and anger and mutual conflict at that point. And would the jury have factored that in? In other words, we've all been in fights with people we love, and so it's not the same as a more conscious.
As Brian smiles, he's like,
Yeah, this is the difficult part for me, and this is where I was getting in trouble at home when I tried to break this down to my wife. What I didn't like about this defense is they didn't focus on what is called Penal Law 3525. It's the ability to use force to stop a larceny or theft or criminal mischief, the damage of your property. And I always go back to this analogy that I've said multiple times in ABC. And I'll use Kira, use an example. If Kira's walking down the street and someone takes her purse, the law says you're allowed to use force to take your property back. The law doesn't say, well, your girlfriend's allowed to take your cell phone because she's allowed to check for infidelity. The law doesn't say, well, my wife's allowed or I'm allowed to take my wife's property because I need to check it for this or that. No. To me, this broke down to Grace Jabari stealing property and Jonathan Majors using force. Now, the question is it appropriate force to take back his property? But that seemed to be an argument that was missed completely in this trial. I'm not sure quite why. For the most part, they really focused on, can you believe that these injuries actually occurred in that vehicle when Grace Jabari then went off drinking with these new friends that she saw, that she supposedly bumped into a wall, supposedly bounced her head off of the DJ booth, was smoking with a cigarette. Was her finger really broken? Was her ear really scratched? That's where this case really focused. It didn't focus on, is any person justified of using force to take back their property?
And see, this is what people don't want to talk about. Just like he said when he brings it up, discussing it with his wife is mad that he brought up that actual point. But if you flip it and you ask a woman and somebody trying to steal your purse, just like he says, should you use force to get it back? Can you kick that guy in the face to get your purse back? They'll be like, yeah, I should be able to do whatever, right? So I believe the defense should have used both of these tactics as far as explaining why these lacerations or injuries could have occurred. I think they should have argued both points. But I think they probably were afraid to argue the point of him using force because then it's the big black man, the lily white, innocent white woman. Once you start saying, well, he's allowed to use force, then it gets dicey as far as how people are viewing it, how they're hearing it, because it doesn't sound right to them. If you flip it and it's a woman using force against a man, then they would understand. But like my man just said, there's nothing in the law that says that he should not be able to use force to defend or whatever, to defend himself. And this is where men can't win. If a woman is to attack you, you know, we were told don't hit women, this, that, and other. But what you do when she running up, you supposed to just be a punching bag? You in the car with the woman. You trying to do everything you can not to hit her. She's swinging and doing all this on you. Bah, 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 bah. You know what I'm saying? At what point are you supposed to be like, chill out? And then when you do that, and there is something that happens in that, you know, they're saying that they're going with the argument that she's lied so much in this whole debacle that we can't even take her we can't believe her to even say that these injuries happened in the car. Because she went on throughout the rest of the night acting in a way as if she didn't have any injuries. So you don't know when these injuries could have actually occurred. There was no proof that he actually caused these injuries. They just used the clip of showing him picking her up and putting her in the car to say, oh, see right there. They just disregarded the whole rest of that tape when he turned his back and he tried to walk away a little bit. Then she jumped on him. They disregarded that. The same doctor that they asked about if her finger was broke, they should have asked him, can you suffer a broken finger from swinging on somebody? Yes. She chased them 2 blocks trying to fight this man. What else do you want a man to do? Because if we square up with are we not allowed to protect our personal space? Are we not allowed to do that? Because when women get to thinking that you're supposed to be a punching bag, because this is what these feminists do. They raise up men, don't touch, don't this, that, another, don't hit. But then we got this whole new generation of aggressive women who love the thought of punching you in your face because of this, that, or the other. some girl texts you and she trying to figure out what this, that, and the other, what happened and this, that, and the. You don't know what you saw, if he cheating or he not cheating. It don't matter. Because it's not going to matter for a man. If a man catches girl cheating and he bop her in the face, then what? What do y'all say then? Lock him up, throw away the key, all of that. It still doesn't add up. So you're telling me she's allowed to bop him multiple times in his face because she's suspecting him of cheating? And then when he tries to somewhat defend himself, he's still found guilty of assaulting her? This is nuts, man. This is nuts. Men can't win. The law is not set up for you to win. And then also after this, he's got to suffer the consequences of losing Marvel, Disney, all these upcoming roles that he's probably going to lose, all these upcoming auditions that he's probably going to lose from this because she was attacking him. And because she was lying, which is like I'm seeing why they kind of went with that defense, because they didn't want to paint the possibility of him striking her or harming her. They just wanted to go with a lot of the facts, and a lot of the facts said that she was lying. She lied about all of this. She lied to the police. She lied to making the reports. She lied the whole way around. So what makes you think she can't lie about when she suffered the broken finger or the lacerations? It's just ridiculous, man. But you tell me what you think about it. That's your boy P Camp. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.